So you're thinking of moving to Portland, Oregon, and you're just wondering, hey, what is it like to live there? It's time to rip the Band-Aid off and just tell me the truth. Maybe you've always dreamed of moving here. Maybe you're moving here for a new job. You're searching what it's like to live in Portland, Oregon. Well, after living here just a couple years, I'm not born and raised in Portland. I'm going to tell you the truth. I got a list. I got 10 things that I have observed, seen. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to be open, transparent, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros, the cons, everything you need to know before you make your move here to Portland, Oregon. Yes, we will be talking about that political climate, rioting, all of it, even the weather. And we're getting after it right now. What's up, everybody? This is Jackson Wilkey with the Real Agent Now Group right here in Portland, Oregon. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play, and the pros and the cons of living in Portland, Oregon, make sure you tap that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. And we are literally getting dozens of phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about moving anywhere in Southwest Washington or Portland, Oregon, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send us that pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. All right, so what we'll do is we'll work down this list. I basically, instead of going back and forth and the good, the bad, I got 10 things that basically you've heard about, you've seen or read about, and I'm going to address them, and I will weigh in on both sides of it. So it is a true pro-con and weighing these things out. I'm telling you, I saved the best one, number 10. So you will want to stay tuned to the very end, because if you're moving here, you may want to know this. So number 1 on the list, we're going to talk about so many people moving to Portland. Is it overcrowded? What the heck is going on there? Because this is most important. As you've heard in the news and everything, there's just so much relocation basically in the entire Northwest. COVID has played a huge part in this relocation because, well, most of us learned we could kind of work from home, or, hey, I don't really need to live in this expensive city anymore. I can relocate to where I want to live. And I'm telling you right now, that is true. There are so many people moving here. And in fact, there are, we're right at about 1 month of inventory. So we've set the record here in the Portland Metro for the amount of homes availability. So let's say that today nobody else put their house on the market. Basically in 1 month, we'd be out of homes. Is this really bad for you? Well, it's not terrible, but at the same time, it makes it very competitive. And so with us, yes, we've helped over 100 clients move and relocate here now to this channel. Like, thank you guys so much, by the way, all of you subscribers and viewers. But at that point, we've got this process dialed. We've got it dialed down to the T. So what does that mean for you if you are thinking about moving here? It's planning. It's the thing that I didn't do when I moved here and I was so screwed. So that's why we built this channel. So you really need to reach out, and it's all about lifestyle. Why are you moving here? You're moving here for a reason, and let's get you ahead of the curve, because to be honest, a lot of listing agents with their house, their client's house being for sale. And think about this if you were in their shoes, right? You have your house for sale. There's less than a month of inventory. You're going to get multiple offers on that house. And all of a sudden you see these offers and there's one from out of state. And you're like, well, I have these people, they're already in town. They've came and they've seen the house. And yet you got someone out of state. Maybe they're not like as into it as these people are. It can just be a psyche thing to where they may think that. All right. Now, no agent's going to steer. We're always going to represent the best that we can. But what we do is now we have Addison, our lender, on that call. We have ourselves. We are phoning these agents. And most importantly, these agents around here know us now, so that we actually can, call them and they're like, okay, yes, these guys, they do good work. They know relocation. So I don't want to talk about that too long, but it's important to plan and to plan with the right people. Secondly, we have the urban growth boundary here. What does that mean for you? Well, they're not sprawling out and building wherever they want in Portland. This is something that is voted on every 10 years and acted on, seems like every 10 or 20 years. So there's an actual border around the Portland Metro in Oregon to where they cannot expand those boundaries. And so we are seeing pockets of new construction going to try and keep up with this demand. But that's why we are seeing the house prices raised. We can't just sprawl out and build anywhere we want. That is a good and a bad, a pro and a con, because, well, there's not as many houses being built. But secondly, when you get into these homes, you're a lot more protected when it comes to down the road, a year, 2, 5 years down the road with that equity. And so that's why we've really seen that spike. So yes, there are a lot of freaking people moving here. And if you're coming inevitably, it's just teaming yourself up and understanding, yeah, there's a lot of people. But the net migration, I will add this before we go on to the next one. It's almost balanced. There's actually quite a few people venturing out of Portland, maybe going up to Vancouver, to Washington, or yes, going somewhere else. Number 2, you are wondering about the weather. You've heard about it, sleepless in Seattle, whatever. It just rains all day. I will tell you right now, I have lived in multiple locations, and it is the easiest weather I've ever lived in. Is it gray for sometimes a week, 2 weeks? Yep, it is. And if you can't handle that, I probably wouldn't live in Portland, Oregon. But at the same time, it never gets freezing cold. If it does, it's 1 or 2 nights. I've lived here now through 3 winters, and like the most snow we've gotten is this much. In fact, they call school for half the day. I'm used to like 6 feet of snow. They'll get 1 inch and the whole town shuts down. That's about it. And all through the summer, I mean, you're still going to get those 80, 90-degree hot days. Go out and swimming in the rivers, swimming in the lakes. It's really temperate weather. But yeah, your springtime, man, I swear that the springs I've had here, they're 70s like all throughout. The falls, man, all the way up until about like October, beautiful sunny weather. It's amazing. But I'm a Northwest kid. I'm taking that into my lens, into my perspective of, yes, you're going to get on average 150 days of rain, but the difference between the rain here in Portland and some of the other locations, you know, in the Northwest, is it's usually a drizzle in the morning. In fact, 0.01 inch of precipitation equals a day of rain. So yes, you will wake up and have a little bit of maybe drizzle or rain on your car. That's really it. We've been having some incredible spring summers, but I won't sugarcoat it. It frickin' rains here, and it can go days, maybe weeks with raining. It's just what happens, but it makes that lush, beautiful landscape. So don't think you're coming here and it's just going to be beautiful and sunny every day, or don't think you're going to come here and it's just going to rain every day. I think you'll get that healthy mix as my paper slides down my leg. Number 3 is that political climate everybody's been hearing about and researching and basically hearing about it on the news. And that's kind of where I want to start. As I've lived here and I live out in the suburbs, like the Beaverton area, I rarely even know this stuff's going on. In fact, I'm getting the phone calls from friends and family like, dude, are you alive? Is the whole place burning down? No, it's not. Yes, the downtown scene, which we'll be talking about and I'll do a whole nother video on, is very unfortunate. There are people out there destroying it, and to me, it is absolutely asinine what they're doing, devastating other people and their businesses who have no dog in this fight. So yes, you are seeing that downtown scene being rioted and stuff. But after the election, they sent in the National Guard. They had one last night on like Sandy Boulevard, and that's really it. So I'm not saying it's gone. It's peaceful. It's perfect. The downtown scene, about 20% of the businesses have had to shut down. So I say that with a pro and a con because, well, everywhere else, we have a month of inventory. It's on fire. People are moving here in droves, and the suburbs, the areas out and around, you're never seeing this stuff. And so it's unfortunate to even talk like that. But yes, like outside of the actual downtown Portland area, it's really not being affected as well or as much. So I just want to paint that picture of like when you get here and maybe you're out in some other areas, you're not going to see all these flames and pitchforks all the time. But downtown scenes, it's pretty gross. Some of the statues being knocked down and the spray painting and the rioting, and it's asinine if you ask me. So with that, the other thing I want to talk about the political climate, because I'm like the most least political guy ever. I just live life, have fun, drink my brewskis, and treat everybody the same. You will be fine. I don't care which side of the spectrum you are on. You will be fine here because I happen to be from North Idaho. I absolutely love the outdoors and hunting and fishing and my guns. And, well, I get to enjoy it. There's some of the best elk hunting and blacktail hunting I've ever seen here. I go steelhead fishing on man's camps. I go trout fishing all over. That's just me. It's who I am. But I understand if you're on the other side and you don't believe in that stuff, you'll have plenty of friends and those people that don't. But it's not like this huge just brawl and argument all the time about the differences. In fact, I have friends who don't like hunting and fishing, and we're great friends. Like it gets painted in the picture, and I guess I get kind of emotional about this as I get reached out to every day from people like, dude, is this place burning down? And what a crap hole and this and that. It's not. It's beautiful here. You can live your life and enjoy it. And we'll talk about that at the very end. Very, very important. Just living your life. So yes, both sides, you're good to go. Number 4 is the affordability, the pros and the cons. It depends on where you're coming from. Honestly, the affordability for, the locals and even some people coming maybe from the Midwest, it's starting to skyrocket. And especially in the last 6 months, as COVID and people can move and live wherever they want, we're seeing just incredible growth. It's almost unexplainable how fast things are growing here. But I do realize, and a lot of our clients coming from those bigger areas, moving here, $500,000 for, a good sized family home in great school districts, or, getting into luxury, 800, 900,000. We've been getting people into brand new construction homes with 9-foot ceilings and all the appliances and custom finishes with open concept and 6 bedrooms and giant basements, like $800,000, $900,000. So yes, I mean, from all spectrums, that affordability for some is through the roof, and I get it. It kind of feels like it is for me. But for others, that's going to be beautiful for you to be able to finally get into maybe that new next up home for the family. We're working with tons of families who need that bigger home, and they can afford it. So it really boils down to location and lifestyle. I cannot stress that enough. You may be looking at or thinking about an area, but it doesn't show itself too well on paper, on blog form. You got to see it. It's a feeling thing. And I'm telling you, when I got here, you drive through these areas and I'm looking on the map and I'm reading things. I'm like, that's going to be my spot. You go through it. You're like, this ain't my spot. This ain't my jam. You feel it. We've toured hundreds of clients now. And that's why I go back to the initial reach out of like, why are you moving here? What's your lifestyle? What's your goals when moving to Portland, Oregon? Because just by letting you talk and tell us what your feelings are and what you really want in Portland, we're going to have 2-3 areas you've never even heard about. And people are quite surprised once we take them through those areas. So it's very important to, really understand what your lifestyle is so we can pinpoint you on those. So with that being said, we're going to jump right over to the next one, which is number 5, schools and daycares. All across the Portland Metro, Vancouver, Washington. I'm telling you right now, I really have minimal problems at all taking my kids to any of these schools. Yes, you will see them ranked 1 through 10. A lot of that has to do with, the income levels and some of that, like Jesse always talks about, and I'm not steering in any direction. This is public data that's out there. You can read the numbers, but, I have schools, in the 5 and the 6 ranking, and they're amazing. Like, I freaking love these schools, but maybe it's in an area where there's a lot of older generations and retirees and they just don't make as much. So that factors into it being a lower score. There's some areas in the northeast and southeast sections that we've gone through, like the Sabins, the Alamedas. They may have a little bit lower rankings for that reason. The most killer elementary schools I've ever seen in my life. So again, it's all lifestyle. It's all pinpointing you to, some of these areas and giving you the stories and understanding what these areas are like for you, your family, for whoever's coming with you. Hey, if you're loving all these videos, they helped you at all with your decision to Portland, please take a second and just smash that like button. It really helps us out. And right now or right after this video, comment down below what you've heard and what you'd like to get answered. We always monitor our comments. We will be answering your questions and shooting those videos. So comment down below and hit the like button. Number 6. You may not think there's a con to this, but it's the beautiful outdoors and the mountains and the trees. And you're like, Jackson, dude, get lost. What could be wrong with that? Well, as I can hear my wife sneezing downstairs, that was perfect timing. The allergies. Like, if you are a person who gets attacked by allergies, I will probably say the Northwest is going to be one of the worst. I can't believe she sneezed right then when that happened. It's going to be one of the worst as everything pollinates. I swear, like, in the fall, like winter times, I don't know what the hell's pollinating, but you'll just get hit with this attack. Fortunately, myself, I don't get it too bad, but like you'll walk over to your neighbor's house, go have a brewski, and it looks like he got in a fight with Mike Tyson. You're like, dude, what's wrong, man? He's like, I don't know, these allergies, man. So the Northwest will just attack you with allergies. If you're one of those kind of people that it can bother you, just get that allergy game plan. But The Pro, I'm telling you right now, 360 degrees, no matter which direction you go, within 20, 30 minutes, you can basically get lost into the national forest, into the woods. In fact, we have the largest park inside of city limits, the Forest Park up in the northwest part of downtown Portland. And that is one of our favorite joints. There's about 15, 20 different entrances, all over. It stretches miles and miles and miles. There's living right next to it, tucked into it, as well as it comes all the way down into northwest Portland. What's better than that? You hike up, see like some of the biggest old growth trees you've ever seen in your life, gorgeous trails, manicured, come down, hit the downtown scene, go hit a brewery with the family, grab some brewskis, a giant pretzel about this big. I love it. Any direction, east, west, north, south, you're going to be able to get into incredible national forest, hiking, lakes, rivers, streams. There's actually an app called All Trails. That's one that I downloaded, and it just gives you all of these trailheads. It's crazy how many trailheads there are, as well as, hey, you're an hour and a half from the coast. That's our favorite thing to do for sure. So the outdoors, allergies, that kind of stuff. Number 7 is the Portland downtown scene. The pros and the cons to that is, well, pre-COVID, it was one of the coolest places I've ever been to. I never really lived in an area where you had a true downtown. There's the MAX system that takes you down there. You got the Portland Timbers soccer stadium. You got so many restaurants, shops, bars, and things to do. Yes, during the rioting and COVID, a lot of that shut down. So what we're seeing is it's not all gone. Some of it's there. And as I said, after post-election, the rioting has really stopped, and you can still go down there. In fact, down in the Pearl District, down there quite a bit, it's still pretty active down there. You go down middle of the day, lots of people out, enjoying their coffees, going to all the parks and stuff. So you're still going to have incredible areas, and especially up northwest, Snob Hill or Nob Hill areas, you'll be just fine. The downtown scene is very cool in a sense of, grid systems, very small, walkable. You can head from the Pearl to the northwest. There's electric scooters everywhere. There's bridges, we're Bridge City, Bridgeland. Get in and out of Portland all over. And as things hopefully, really start to correct and get back, it's one of the greatest areas ever. But as of right now, it's unfortunately, again, just to be brutally honest, it's kind of sad to see what the hell went on down there. Like it irks me, irks a lot of people because of just the families and the people that are enduring that, who have their business, poured their heart and soul into that. So the good news to that is, that's really isolated to just the downtown scene. The outer skirts, especially out on the west side, the tech companies, they're just exploding and booming, high-paying jobs. Hillsboro, Oregon, the Silicon Forest is one of the most affordable city in the state of Oregon. And people might be like, well, houses are so expensive out there. Yes, but compared to if you compare the actual income levels of people out on that side versus the home prices, that's where the statistic and the data actually comes from. So really high-paying jobs, and you're only 20 minutes from downtown Portland, really anywhere you need to go. So yes, that downtown scene is just amazing. It's a lot of fun, and it's also unfortunate what's happening. So we'll keep moving. Number 8 is the traffic everybody seems to talk about. And when you live in the Northwest, there is one factor that you cannot get around. The mountains, the rivers, the streams. It just dictates a lot of the traffic patterns. We have a giant river going right through town. We have lakes everywhere. And, well, we have giant mountains. In fact, we got a couple tunnels where you drive straight through it. Unfortunately, Portland is an older town. And so as it absolutely exploded in growth, it's trying to keep up. It's not an area which is big and flat like maybe Phoenix or Houston, where they can just continue to build out with big loops. We're restricted with the mountains and the rivers and all that, and it's just kind of older. So yes, you will run into quite a bit of traffic. Getting from like the east side to the west side at rush hour is going to be a long time. I'll tell you, since COVID hit, I do a lot of driving from Beaverton to downtown, even the east side. It's a heck of a lot better than it was. Not as many people out driving, but you will definitely hit some traffic. And there's nothing more important, because as you look on the map and you're like, geez, that only looks like it's 12 miles away. And again, for some people, 30 minutes, 40 minutes in traffic is nothing to them. In fact, our traffic is always moving unless there's like just a brutal wreck. But even during rush hour, you'll always be moving 10, 15 miles an hour. And as we've had a lot of California clients, they're like, oh my gosh, there's times I just slam it up and park and you just hang out for an hour. It'll never be like that unless obviously there's a wreck. But that is going to it will hit you is the traffic. And I'll tell you, even more so, like in the suburbs, some of the back road and like the main roads, like I live in Beaverton, like Murray, some of Shoals Road, you know, some of these roads, they just get backed up, man. You'll wait like 3 turns for a light. So I think the inner suburb traffic is worse than the highways. So number 9 on the list, this is something that we're starting to get a little bit more honest here. Number 9, if you've heard about it, you're going to turn into a hipster. That's what I was told. Now, I come from North Idaho. It's Coors Light, Natural Light, Keystone Light drinking, and now I go home and I want to enjoy an IPA or hazy. And they're like, yo, Wilkey, what are you, some kind of hipster, bro? And I'm like, no, bro, just like my hazies. You're not going to turn into a hipster, but yes, like you will love all the different breweries around here and the food. There's like 15 different styles of food I never even ate in my life until I got here, and now it's one of my most enjoyable things. But the con to that, you're going to get called a hipster, man. It is what it is. But I will tell you what, you enjoy those brewskis, you enjoy that food. It's just so much fun. It's energizing. You can hear it in me, and that goes right to number 10, what we all waited for, and that is to get out and see stuff. And you might be like, well, where's the pro and con in that? There ain't no damn con in that. Moving to Portland, Oregon was one of the most energizing things I've ever done, whether it was Portland or any of these areas, but Portland just has this incredible sense of like activity, activeness, get out, and I love that. So moving from an area where I knew everybody and everything, I really got stuck in my ways. I didn't want to go do anything. I didn't want to go to lighting ceremonies or festivals because I'd already been there. I'd done that. I didn't want to fight the crowds. I really strongly suggest when you get here and you hear about Mississippi Street Fair, you hear about the Saturday Market, you hear about all these different brewery fests. There's 5Ks where you run a 5K with the family pushing the strollers and brewery sponsor it. And at the end of it, you get a slider and a beer and like, there's so much to do. There's out on the east side, you can go up hiking up into the mountain. Mount Tabor is amazing. Head down to Alameda. You can go Forest Park. I just want you to really, when you hear something, say, okay, I'm just going to go check it out. That's what I did, and it was the most enjoyable thing that we've done as a family. It brought us closer together, and that's what Portland is. You will never, ever, ever run out of things to do here in the Portland Metro, but we do not want you stuck in traffic in the wrong areas and living in a place you did not sign up for or you do not like. The only way that we can help you find your perfect location, like we've helped hundreds of other people, is you got to reach out. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send that pigeon carrier days, nights, weekends. We got your back when moving to the Portland Metro. And until our next video, guys, I'll be drinking hazies, and we'll catch you later.